Sawadee Krap and welcome to another Thailand Tuesday here for the Funk It Pod. It's Tuesday and you know what it means. I'm in Thailand. Let's talk about Thailand, right? And I received a few questions or remarks about what I thought wasn't that obvious, but I'm also not trying to hide it about tattoos, because I have a few tattoos on my body. And questions like, when did you get your first tattoo? Did you get it in Thailand? Like, how much is it? What do you need to be aware of? And so on. So let's just quickly talk about tattoos in Thailand. I know that's it sounds like a very touristy thing to do. Like, hey, you're in Thailand, you're getting a tattoo, probably like a Thai tattoo. So, first off, I don't have a Thai tattoo. I don't have they call it a traditional Thai tattoo. It's called sakyant. I don't have a sakyant tattoo. You get sakyant tattoos from like tattoo masters. Very often those are monks. They will bless you and they will create like those traditional patterns. For example, what Angelina Jolie has on her back, like those 4 or 5 kind of like lines down her back. That's a very traditional sakyant tattoo here in Thailand. They all have different kind of meanings. You will see maybe Muay Thai fighters having them, also with like other portraits on the back, on their back, or on their arms, for example, on their hands. They all have different kinds of meaning. I don't have that simply because aesthetically I'm not the biggest fan of sakyant. But if sakyant is your thing, you will definitely find like very good sakyant tattoo artists, masters, teachers. They also call them ajans or crew here in Thailand. I didn't have a tattoo before I came to Thailand, so now you can be like, yeah, of course you got your tattoo in Thailand. I would simply say a thing because I got older and I was like, okay, now I'm sure I can live with it for the rest of my life. I'm really sure that I want this on my body, so that's why I got it. So I have, let's just quickly give you a breakdown like how it started, right? So once I came to Thailand and I started to be heavily involved in education and realized, hey, education, teaching is one of the things that I really like. I'm really passionate about it. I do think I can do this for the rest of my life. And it did change my life completely. I didn't teach before I came here, became a teacher, lecturer, professor. So I met so many amazing students and so on. So I'm like, this is the turning point in my life right now. I do something differently. So yeah, also sounds very cliche, I understand it. So I get a tattoo here on the upper part of my arm, basically outside of the biceps, which then says kind of like instructor, teacher, professor in the language of my students. I'm not going to show it because I don't want you to copy it because it's awesome, of course. There are not many pictures where you can see it actually out there in public. And I started this, I got this on a weekend trip, and again, it sounds super cliche. I did not get drunk. I don't drink. I never get drunk, so I don't drink. So that just doesn't happen. So I actually asked a friend of mine who had a tattoo. I'm like, hey, I'll be visiting my old hood, Udon Thani, over like a long weekend. I haven't been there in a year or two. Just want to like meet all my old friends and so on. Is there a good tattoo artist up there? Because then I could get a tattoo there, and then while I'm there, it can heal. And then when I come back to Bangkok, come back to work, I can wear my normal shirt and so on. Said and done. My friend organized it. I went to a tattoo artist up there. That was actually kind of nice. It was all super clean, nothing dodgy. So you think, yeah, like out there in the wild rural area, or whatever. No, it was very clean. It was awesome. My friend helped me to translate there. Guy was super nice. Tattoo guy was super nice. When he realized that. When he looked at the pattern that I created, because I created the pattern, he just arranged it like a little bit like the size and so on, and he realized what it said, because it's also in Thai, of course, and then he said, oh my god, you're a teacher, and he was vying me and so on. It was really funny. Really nice guy. So then that was the first part of my tattoo. It was like maybe like this big, if you can see it right now. So it's not the whole bicep, it's just like this. Again, it said it in the languages of all my students that I taught to this point. And eventually, time moves on. And by the way, yes, it hurt. It hurt. Did it hurt? Yes, it hurt. It hurt a lot. The big parts didn't hurt, but it's lots of shading on there. So it's not like the tattoo that you can see it a little bit. If you zoom in, if you're like a creepy stalker and you zoom in, you can see it here. There's lots of shading there. The shading hurt like hell. The big parts that are not shading, not a big problem, but the shading hurt like hell. So then I moved back to Bangkok, and I thought, okay, I want more. It looked a bit like empty around here, and then I thought, what else defines my life right now? So then I found a few more things that I'm really passionate about that define my life that I'm not gonna bother you with because you're gonna be like, oh, that's so cheesy. So I don't need this. If you say it's so cheesy, I come here, say to my face, I'm gonna beat your ass. So I found a few more things that mean a lot to me, and then I also have it translated from my friends, my students into their language, and then I just put it around here. So now my tattoo goes from here, basically the upper part, the shoulder, then all the way down to where you can see it here to the end of the biceps, basically, or like the upper part of the arm until the forearm, basically. And this hurt because, again, lots of shading here, and then there's lots of area because my biceps is so big. There's lots of area to cover. I did this at a tattoo studio here in Bangkok. I was doing some research. I didn't want to go to just the fanciest one because you never really trust them. Maybe it's just marketing. Maybe they bought the research or they bought the reviews and so on. So I found a tattoo studio in a future park. That's a big shopping mall here. It's a small studio, like in the very top floor. Like the corner, like a very small shop, a very small shopping mall shop to tattoo studio there. But the people there were super cool, like super. I went there to discuss things. They're like, yeah, we can do this. Yeah, sure, here, there. I also went to a famous tattoo studio and I wanted to check if they can like make this extension. They're like, we don't extend existing tattoos. We only create our own. So no, we're not going. I'm like, okay, if you don't want, then I'm not coming. And then this tattoo studio actually made me also a fantastic price, and I saw some of the other work that they did. So I'm like, okay, let's do it. It took 15 hours. This whole thing now. Then the second part, like the first part, took I think 3 or 4 hours, but then like the rest, 3 times 5 hours with the shading and everything. It was crazy. On the last day, I was there until until like midnight or something. The shopping mall already closed, and they said, security guard, hey, we're gonna finish this tattoo. And he said, yeah, whatever. And I was there like until midnight or so. Crazy. So yeah, this then took like forever. Like I said, the shading just took forever. But the tattoo was created. The shop is called KU Tattoo Future Park Rangsit. Rangsit is like the outer districts of Bangkok. That's where I used to live back then. No, not anymore. So don't stalk me. So yeah, cool people there. I really appreciated that. They took good care of me while I was sitting there. They brought me some water or something to eat or something. It was really nice of them. So yeah, Kuda to Rangsit. Very clean also as well. Good music also played while I was waiting there. So I appreciate that. That was nice. Okay, so then I moved away from Rangsit. I'm like, okay, a year or two later, I'm like, okay, I should do some retouching there because now I had like those 2 parts of those 2 tattoos. I wanted it to look the same, right? So I went to like one of the most other famous tattoo studios that I found here, OD Tattoo. It's in the Thong Lo area of Bangkok. And they were also super nice. I added like a little bit up. The tattoo ended here. I wanted it to go a bit over the shoulder, so I added a little bit. It hurt like hell too. It only took like an hour, but it hurt like hell. And then like just some touch up work so that it's like all has a similar style now, right? Super clean work, like very, very well done. OD Tattoo, not my kind of vibe though. I did like the music. It was like some hip hop stuff. That was cool, but the weed smell in the air was a bit much. And yeah, so I was treated more like another job rather than like, hey, some potential future work or whatever. Like the other guys, like at Kudatu, for example, made me feel very welcome. Like, hey, they established a relationship and so on. This guy at OD Tattoo, not so much. So I wasn't a big fan there. The work is still good, so nothing to complain about, but I didn't want to come back then for future tattoos. Future tattoos then happened. I'm thinking what exactly happened. Where did I do this? So I then did this one down here, and then here I have another one. I did those. Those are like very fine lines, so there's no shading or so. It's just like line work. And I found another tattoo studio with like a really fine, was kind of famous. All the reviews are like, hey, great line work, great line work. So I went to this studio for great line work. It's in the Amarin Plaza in central Bangkok, Amarin Plaza. You go into Amarin Plaza, I think third floor or so. It's Bangkok Tattoo Studio, I believe. Yeah, super nice people as well there. Super nice also the staff who was helping me with like translating and finding the right sizes and so on of what I wanted to do. Again, I did the layout and everything, and then we discussed prices and so on, and then did it. The tattoo artist is called Jeans, Kun Jeans, Jeans. If you want to stalk on Instagram or something, type in Jeans Tattoo Bangkok or something, you will find it. Again, those tattoos, because there's no shading, took like a bit more than an hour or something. Not that long, not that painful, because it's just the line work. I mean, it hurts a little, of course, but compared to the shading part and compared to like on the shoulder blade, no problem at all. What else did I do? Oh, yeah, I forgot. No, the OD tattoo, I didn't do the touch-up. I did only add something up here. No touch-up. That's why it was so short. The touch-up then I did later on. I did a touch-up then for the whole side, so that like shoulder and the side of the arm, that they all looked the same. And then that's where I went to another tattoo studio. And then this other tattoo studio is very famous in Bangkok right now. They moved a few times. I think now they have like a townhouse story building somewhere like Thong Lo area, Prakanong area. So really central in a Prompong area, I think, Thong Lo Prompong. Very central Bangkok, very famous. I think it's called Future. Future. I think it's called Future Tattoo, right? Future. I think so. It's on my website too. Great work. I mean, they're super busy, ridiculous, super nice guys, very nice to talk to, but so busy. It's insane. It's crazy. They did great work here with the touch-up. It looks awesome, fantastic, like fantastic work. Really recommend it. But then I went back because I wanted to have another tattoo. The tattoo like here in the chest area. And I had some ideas, but I wasn't really sure what it was. So I went in there and I wanted to just discuss things with them. And I'm like, hey, I know you already, so I trust you guys. And then they just Google for the pictures and like, here, that looks similar to what you want. Let's just put it on your chest. Let's just do it. And it was just a little bit like too fast and not enough time to talk about things. I'm like, I don't want a Google picture on my body. So then I didn't go there anymore. It was cool for what it was, but then maybe because they got too busy, they just wanted it to be like faster. I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of this then anymore, to be honest. So, but the work that I got done there before was really good. So nothing to complain about, right? Just like felt in the consulting process because I was so busy, so many people like around. The tattoo artist in the back already very busy. So it just didn't feel like me like. It didn't feel like that personal anymore. So I went to a different tattoo artist somewhere in Phaya Thai, and now it's slipping. The name is slipping my mind. I will link to it from the podcast description, from the video description, because I went there somewhere in Phaya Thai, and it was like a very small shop, but like I saw the artwork on Instagram and Facebook, so I'm like, that's really good artwork. So I went there, and then this guy was like, yeah, cool, good ideas. Let me get back to you with a few ideas. And then at first he Googled a little bit, but just for good inspiration. So I didn't say, hey, picture from Google, print, put it on your chest. He's like, okay, just let me get some inspiration. Oh, okay, that's what you mean. Okay, okay, I'm gonna create it. And then he actually drew it by himself, by hand. And it's like, hey, I have some ideas. Let me get back to you. So I went home, and then the day after, he sent me a few pictures drawn by hand. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Like, fantastic. And I gave him like a few more pointers, like color-wise and like size-wise and position-wise, like what I wanted to change and so on. And then he captured what I wanted, like really, really well. And it was like unique. So what I have on my chest right now is nothing you can Google. It's just like, again, like every other tattoo too. But all the other tattoos I designed and layouted because it's like words, so I could do it. But like I can't draw what I want exactly, right? Because I suck at drawing. So he drew it, and it was just like I imagined it. So fantastic. So then we put it here on the chest. And oh my God, like upper butt, upper chest, no problem. I mean, all muscles, so I mean, no problem. But when it went down here to the middle, oh fuck, I almost cried. Like tears didn't stream down, but they kind of like started to pile up here. Luckily, it was also hot, so I'm like, I'm just sweating. And luckily, his assistant was a girl, so I'm like, I can't cry in front of a girl. But man, down here, it really hurt. And then they keep telling me, because that assistant, that girl, she had like a whole back tattoo, and they keep telling me like, when I got that back tattoo, I just slept. You sleep when you get a tattoo? And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna sleep now too. I always cry when I sleep. But it was amazing. So I'm mad at myself for why it slips my mind right now, that because I was like, I'm never going to forget that tattoo. So I even recommended this tattoo artist to lots of my friends. I think 3 or 4 of my friends went to the tattoo artist afterwards and got tattoos there because it was so good. So I'm not exaggerating here. So the problem, however, now is not with this. So this was a really great studio. So very much recommended. The problem with tattoos in Thailand is there are gazillion of tattoo studios. If you Google tattoo Thailand, Bangkok or whatever, you find probably tattoo studios in Khao San Road. You find tattoo studios here and there and there and there. You just walk around and you're gonna see like 1,000 tattoo studios in Bangkok, and they're not always gonna treat you like I don't know, like the way you want to be treated. Maybe they're like, hey, it's just another foreigner, just another tourist. Like, just get it done and goodbye. So you really need to spend some time to getting to know those people. Ask them questions like, hey, how long is it going to heal? How long can I not travel? How long can I not go in the water and things like this? If they say, oh, never mind, just wrap some foil around it and you can go and swim, that's BS. Yeah, so don't trust them. If they say it's only going to take a day, and be smart, be sensible, ask them questions, and then you can see, oh, they really care about what you do. They don't just try to sell something. They care about you. They're like, hey, you want to travel later on? Okay, I understand, but maybe don't go in the water for the next 3 days. Don't swim in the ocean because infections and whatnot. And then also ask them like how you should let it heal. Do they have some cream? Don't they have cream? What do they recommend? And then you can see what kind of ink are they using. And then you can see whether or not they're serious and they really care about you, or they only care about making some quick bucks. I think all the 2 places that I went to, some more, some less, but they all convinced me when I went there for consultation. I went there first to consult, to talk, and I'm like, okay, cool, I trust you guys, because it's my body, so I need to trust them. So I'm like, okay, trust you guys, put it on there, awesome, and I might even be able to recommend them again. So yeah, getting tattoos in Thailand is a thing that kind of like, yeah, you're out there in Asia, traveling Asia, backpacking Asia, whatever, get a tattoo. Yes, okay, many do this. I didn't do it like this, but even if you want to do it like this, be sensible. There have been lots of reports of people getting tattoos and then just jumping into a pool, getting like an infection and whatnot. So be smart, ask questions, and if you need some references or referrals, let me know. Check it out, or go to my website, mythai.org, my-thai.org. Type in tattoo, and then you will see like my review of all the tattoo studios, and also the last one that just slipped my mind, but I will put it in the podcast description as well. All right, will I get another tattoo? There are people in my life right now who don't really appreciate tattoos. By the way, the first time I came home, I had a tattoo, and then when I came back home to Germany, it's always cold, especially if you're living in Thailand. It's always cold when you come back home, so I always wear long sleeves. But then eventually, the sun came out, so I then was rolling up my long sleeve, and then my dad saw my tattoo for the first time. My dad hates tattoos, and he was rubbing on it. He's like, does it go away? Is it real? It was kind of funny. But yeah, so will I get another tattoo? I'm thinking about it to like complete the sleeve, so to speak. But yeah, there are people in my life right now who are not the biggest fans of tattoos. So we will see how this goes. Let's see whether or not I will actually be able to finalize this tattoo. I actually already discussed it with a tattoo artist that I found over my friend. So I found another tattoo artist that did some great abstract work. And I'm like, hey, I want to maybe add something abstract and then maybe complete the sleeve. And we're already in talks. But again, I'm not the sole decision maker on this right now, even though it's my body. My body, my tattoos. Anyways, that's the tattoo podcast for today. I think that's enough about tattoos. If you have any questions about tattoos, recommendations, what you should worry about, what you should think about, what you should consider before you get your first tattoo hands-on, shout out either via social media or email. Social media at funkitpod everywhere. Email funkitpod@gmail.com. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to this video, to this podcast. Tell your friends. Review on Apple Podcasts. I'm gonna start next week by reading some reviews from the Apple Podcast and give you shout outs if you do this. So don't forget to review, like, share, subscribe. Stay tuned for new updates. Until then, take care, stay safe. I'll see you soon. Sawadee Krap.